Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video, it's the new fusion coming up next week, and he is a Void Legendary for the Bannerlord. So today, we're going to be looking at him, breaking down his full kit, and giving my opinion. So yeah, actually, I need to get up some more info for when the fusion starts, and then let's dive in. But here we go. This is what Plarium actually has to say directly, which is on Thursday, the 3rd of July, it's a mixed fusion event. This means that you're going to be collecting fragments for epic champions and then fusing the epics up into him. This means it's very difficult because it's very punishing. You basically can't miss fragments, or it's very tough to miss fragments. So you kind of have to do everything to get the epics, and then you still need to level up the epics and fuse them up, which is a fairly substantial cost in terms of potions, brews, and of course silver. So yeah, very difficult. He is a Void Legendary, so at least it sort of makes sense if it's, I guess, a mixed fusion. But yeah, let's take a look. He is Bannerlords, he is Void, he is defense-based, and he is a Legendary. We don't often get Void Legendary fusions. Let's take a look. Ravenblade, his A1, attacks one enemy, has a 40. That books to a 60% chance of placing block active skills for 2 turns. This effect cannot be resisted if this champion's under shield. Ooh, that's nice. Whenever an ally counterattacks, teams up with allies to attack, or instantly activates a skill, has a 40 booking to 60% chance to place block active skills for 2 turns on a target enemy. If there's multiple champions on the team with the skill, only one will activate. Interesting. So I don't think that he attacks with them, but I think he just applies the block active skills whenever, let's say, someone on your team triggers a counterattack or triggers an ally attack. One thing that's a problem, we know from this faction, we know from Faction Wars Hard, you do have the stage to kill enemies with counterattacks and ally attacks. But we know that things like Rhonda's passive do not count. Aislinn the Stalwart, his and he's the faction unity champion, his passive does not count. So some things that seem like they're ally attacks or counterattacks, for whatever reason in the game, are not coded to be. So yeah, I might be thinking, I'll put him in with Rhonda. Whenever Rhonda's passive kicks in and she does like a little ally attack thing, it will count. I don't know if it will. It probably won't, but who knows? Instantly activating a skill, that's interesting and somewhat unusual as well. Also interesting that the basic attack version of this, it's not resistible if he has a shield. I think that this part is resistible, though. So you probably will need to build him with accuracy. Maybe it's a little... I feel like the wording of this is a little unclear. But yeah, I guess that, you know, when he actively does an A1, it will be irresistible if he has a shield, but you'll need accuracy for this part to work, which makes it kind of weird. We'll see if he needs to build accuracy for the rest of his kit or not. Student of War, his A2, 5 books to a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks one enemy. This attack is always critical if his champion's under a shield buff. This attack also gains a damage boost equal to the value of the shield. Ooh. Removes all debuffs from all allies if the target is killed. If the target survives, places Provoke on all enemies for 1 turn instead. It cannot be resisted if he's under shield buff. Man, so he really wants shields. Yeah, that's interesting. Within the faction, Mariska obviously does a absolutely chunky shield. Who else does a big shield? Obviously, Aislinn does a really, really chunky shield. You do have a more budget option, at least in Sigmund. Sigmund does a really big shield, so that's a good option as well. That's sort of it. Helior, he can do a shield as well, which is cool. So there's a few options for shielding in the faction, at least. And just generally, there's plenty of good shield chant, like put him with a Mithrala or something. And he might do some decent damage and do everything irresistibly. That's cool. Interesting. But yeah, full team cleanse or an AoE provoke. Pretty nifty. Pretty cool. And the fact that it's always critical and gains a damage boost means that even if we don't build him for damage stats, he's probably going to hit pretty hard. It might be a weird build where you want to build this champion with like lots of crit damage or something. But no, he's placing ally protection, so maybe not. Androx Confidant, that's a fun name, though. 5-turn goes to 3-turn cooldown. Places ally protection, increase attack, and increase speed on a single ally for 2 turns, and fills that turn meter by 40%. Ooh, that's actually really cool. Instantly activates this skill at the end of an ally's turn if that ally has no buffs and their HP is lower than 100%. Ooh, if there's multiple champs on the team with this skill, only one will activate. I like that a lot. That's actually really, really good. I mean, if you consider like Arbiter, Arbiter's giving you a whole team boost, but in terms of boosting your damage dealer, at the end of the day, she's just giving them increased attack and a 30% turn meter boost. Okay? Now, he's not doing it for your whole team, but for your one specific damage dealer, he's giving them increased attack, but 40% turn meter, and he's giving them ally protection and increased speed as well. On a 3-turn cooldown too, it's actually a pretty interesting move. It's probably going to be absolutely dreadful on auto, but I don't know, maybe not. Also very interesting, I presume this has no cooldown, the instant activation. So if anyone on your team has no buffs at the end of their turn, he basically gives that champion ally protection, increased attack, increased speed, and a 40% turn meter boost for free. That is actually really, really strong. So definitely for like a newer, like if you think about an end game player, you're running multiple buff extension champions, you've got like your whole team just covered in buffs all the time. Not very useful. But if you're a more normal player and you don't have this constant coverage of buffs, he'll actually be giving you some pretty substantial buffs and turn meter boosting, like at the end of every turn, it seems like, which is really strong. Again, it's probably going to be really bad on auto, where it's like, oh, let's say, for example, let's say in, I don't know, in Banner, like who puts out like one, let's say like Tim, let's say I'm running Bannerlords with Timid. Oh shit, well, we never want to use, suddenly Timid's A3 becomes a huge liability, because if I don't need this increased accuracy buff, like if I put this up, and it's the one buff on my team, this increased accuracy buff is going to prevent this guy from using this skill passively. So it's going to stop us getting crazy amounts of turn meter, increased speed, increased attack, ally protection, and that sucks. It's also interesting, he's putting out ally protection, so building him with crit damage seems pretty bad. Crit damage increases the damage you take from ally protection. Does it make sense? No, but that's how the game works. Yeah, when they crit your ally protected ally, it applies your crit damage to the damage that then gets redistributed to you. It's stupid, but it's how it is, unfortunately. It's never been fixed, and probably never will be fixed, let's be real. So yeah, ally protectors take more damage if they build crit damage, which is stupid. And that sucks, because he seems like a champion that you would build with like really high speed and maybe some crit damage and be kind of fun. Passive, for Lord and Land. Each time an enemy hits an ally, the ally's next attack will deal 10% more damage for each hit they take, up to 100%. Damage increase resets after the ally deals damage. That's pretty fun. Yeah, and then his aura, increase void ally HP in all battles by 40%. Okay, I mean, this definitely seems like a... We'll have to see the play testing, but this seems like a very strong fusion. We'll have one big thing is, what is his base speed? Like, if this dude comes in with, like, 115 base speed, or even, like, 110 base speed, he becomes a serious contender for a strong go first champion. Just, like, boom, shoot up a damage dealer with massive buffs, they nuke the enemy, and then they start building up more damage. With if they survive with ally protection on, they're just building up more damage, and they're going to nuke pretty hard, which is cool. Yeah. One thing that's interesting, he doesn't have shield in his own kit. So he has no shield himself, but he really, really wants the shield. Huh, that is interesting as well. He's also going to combine well with ally attack champions, counter attacks. He'll start putting out block active skills. Probably he's going to be very helpful for faction wars. You put him in with a shield champion, and he is an irresistible AoE. Like if we put him in with Sigmund the High Shield, for example, or if we even just give him a blood shield accessory, maybe, he's going to be pumping out irresistible provokes AoE on a 3-turn cooldown, which is really nice. And he's going to be pumping out block active skills, super boosting the team. This guy's really going to help it. Bannerlords is a tough faction. For faction wars hard, Bannerlords is really rough. So this is a massive boost to them. So yeah, initial thoughts, it's going to depend on exactly how he plays. A lot of this stuff is kind of unclear, to me at least, exactly how much it's going to work, how impactful it will feel. But initial read, initial opinion, is he looks potentially very strong, and definitely a fusion that's going to be worth doing. You might not need a soul for him, unless he's really fast. He's going to be a speed boost champion, but he's pretty interesting. I'm pretty intrigued. What else? What did they have to say about him? Titus Blackplume is a versatile tank who brings serious value to both PvP and PvE. His signature is a passive trigger of his A3, automatically applying a bunch of defensive buffs to allies at just the right moment. Again, one thing about it, if you get locked out, like let's say you go into a fight and they hit you with a Warlord or a Yumiko, and you can't actively put up any buffs, this guy's just going to give you a load of buffs, which is really good. You'd have to, I guess, outrun. Like, let's say you go in one turn of Stone Skin on everybody, but you get locked out. He'll give you a bunch of crazy turn meter and buffs. That's yeah. I do think he's gonna be really good, actually. Yeah, providing strong reactive protection when it matters most. His A2 gains bonus effects when he's under shield. While he doesn't bring his own shield, he thrives when teamed up with a shield-granting ally. No surprise, he forms a particularly brutal combo with a faction unity champion, Aislinn Stalwart. Who's Aislinn Stalwart? Is he related to Aislinn the Stalwart? I don't know. The name Stalwart. Aislinn Stalwart. I'm confused. Who is Aislinn Stalwart? Raid? That's good. I like it. Yeah. So on Aislinn, he does as well have allies under ally protection have a 20% chance to counterattack when hit. So that's a really, really nice combo. And he makes shields bigger and he makes you, yeah. Like, they obviously combo very well together. Again, I believe that this counterattack for Faction Wars Hard specifically does not count as counterattack. Just to screw you over, really. So that would be my worry with Titus is, will this actually trigger? Like, when an ally counterattacks, it should. You know, by any reasonable logic, of course, this should trigger. But I am concerned that it might not. I'm sure they'll probably fix it, but yeah, I think maybe it's a bit. I mean, he's a fusion, so that's good. But like, in reality, to get a Void Legendary and a faction unity is extremely difficult. So them being a reliable combo is not necessarily great. Like, I certainly don't have Aislinn. I think this Void Legendary is going to be worth picking up anyway from the fusion. But like, in future, when the fusion's over, kind of sucks that to get the most out of the Void Legendary, you need a faction unity. But at least Sigmund is in the faction. Mariska is another Void Legendary. And there's some other alternatives. His passive also ramps up damage over time, making him a standout pick for long-form encounters like Hydra or Chimera, while still offering value in PvP for players running slow-paced teams. Also, don't overlook his A1 that gives allies a chance to lock out enemy targets for an extra layer of disruption and control, especially in PvP. And yeah, there we go. So that is Titus, what's his name? Titus Blackplume. Let me know what you think. I think visually, by the way, this dude looks super cool. It's a great design. Yeah, this to me seems like a high-value fusion. This seems like one that you're definitely going to want to do, is my initial take. But we'll see after the testing. But yeah, I think his A3 is probably going to end up being a lot stronger than it initially. I think people might underestimate it initially. But I think to me, it actually sounds pretty darn strong. So we will see. Guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this champion, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.